Ladies and gentlemen, here with us we have Anthony Thompson, who is the chairperson and co-founder of Metro Bank, the first UK high street bank to be formed in over 100 years, and it started its operations just very recently in July 2010. So thank you for joining us today, Anthony. So tell us a bit more about Metro Bank. It seems to be very new. It's very different from the standard banks that we see on high street, and we've been seeing, UK has been seeing for the last, century literally. And so tell us a bit more about your bank.
Well, I first saw this model in America in 2001, a very successful bank called Commerce Bank. Commerce Bank was quite unique in my experience in as much as it was loved by both its customers and its shareholders. The reason for this was it genuinely put customers at the heart of everything that it did. And the whole bank was predicated on giving a better customer experience. So over the last decade or so, I've been working on the idea along with my partner Vernon Hill, which resulted in the launch of Metro Bank in July 2010. And it's all about giving customers a better experience. As we say, half jokingly, everything you hate about your bank, we're going to do differently.
Okay, so making everything better for the everyday person who has an account in a retail bank. So how do you go about making it better for the average, Londoner person?
Well, to start with, we don't think of ourselves as a bank. We think of ourselves as a retailer. So when building the bank, we look through a retail perspective and say, why are we doing this? Are we doing this to be better for the bank or to be better for the customer? So we're open 7 days a week. We're open from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. So in every other aspect of your life, as a consumer, you want more service, you want more convenience. We need to give you that in banking.
And I also noticed during your presentation there are many little things, little surprises, as you have put it, that Metro Bank serves to its consumers in the form of pens or having all these little machines in store. Could you tell us a bit more about how those mechanisms work as to attracting more customers or pleasing them a bit more?
Well, again, it's taking the view of a retailer and saying, let's give you a better experience. So, for example, in every one of our stores we have dog bowls with water, and then we have dog biscuits. Now, it's a tiny little thing, but UK banks won't let you as a customer take your dog in, or your cat or your pet, whatever else it might be. We say we welcome them, we've got water for them, we've got biscuits for them. And it's a very interesting statement, because what it says to people is, if you can bring your dog into our bank, and we don't mind if he pees on the floor, or worse, which is what dogs do, then maybe we care more about you as a customer than we care about us as a bank. We have magic money machines. If you have loose change and you want to take it into a bank, first they would insist that you bag it up into exactly the right amount, and then they charge you 9% for the privilege of taking your money. We have coin counting machines where you pour your coins in, you get a slip of paper, we will give you that in notes, there is no charge for it, you don't even have to be a customer to use them. It's just all part of our investment in the customer experience.
Well, that's very interesting. So as a person who would seek to create a bank account in the UK, many people would have this idea of having very good security with their bank, which brands such as HSBC or Barclays have established, mainly due to their long existing presence in the market. So as a new bank, which furthermore has a very relaxed outlook on its advertising, the way it advertises itself. It's a fun bank to come to. You even have the mascot with the M, with the eyes and the hands and the legs. So how would you pursue in attracting more customers to make them believe that your bank will have greater security and they can indeed put their money in without being afraid?
Well, there are several parts to the answer to that. Firstly, in terms of the capital we hold as required by our regulator, the Financial Services Authority, we are probably the strongest capitalised bank on the high street. Second, I think customers know, post the banking crisis, that they are covered by up to £80,000 by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. I think people like bricks and mortar, the fact that we have physical locations that they can go into. And as far as the other banks being safe, well, 2 of our biggest banks are now owned by the taxpayers, or majority owned by the taxpayers. I think people don't regard the old banks as being any more secure anymore.
That's interesting as well. So how did you come up with the whole idea of calling this bank Metro Bank? Because it doesn't really, at the sound of it, if you don't see the logo or the other like posters or flyers of this brand, you won't really know if this bank actually is what you set it out to be. So why did you call it Metro
Well,
Bank?
of course, a name tells you nothing.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought that something called Apple would grow to be the world's biggest and coolest electronics company? So we actually did a lot of research into names. We had all sorts of workshops which we ran to try and identify the name. Vernon Hill actually suggested the name Metro Bank. I wasn't so sure about it, but it came out top of the research every time that we did it.
Okay. And would you say that the other existing banks in the UK, the retail banks, they can learn from Metro Bank in any possible way, given the success that it has had over the very short period of time it has been in existence?
Well, I wouldn't be so arrogant to say the other banks can learn from us. I mean, we don't really care about the other banks. We don't think about the other banks. Our job is to give you as a customer, whether it's a retail customer or a commercial customer, the best possible experience. The other banks try and copy little bits of what they do, but what they seem to miss is it's not one thing, two things that make Metro Bank different. It's 100 or 1,000 things just done that bit better every day.
So as a very new company, do you have any plans in the very near future to expand or to spread the market net?
Absolutely. Well, we opened 18 months ago our first store in Holborn. We thought we'd only opened 4 in our first year. We ended up opening 8. We have 10 open now. We'll open another 10 in 2012, which will give us about 20. So we think in about another 8 years we can have around about 200 stores in Greater London, which will make us a pretty substantial bank in the Greater London market.
So that's in the very near future. And where do you see this company going many years from now on, like more than 50 or about 100?
Well, I of course won't be around to see that.
Yeah.
But what I hope is it will still be sticking to the values that we set it out, which is creating a great customer experience. And this is something I'm very, very proud of, and I know will outlive me.
Okay. And are you confident that this new model, this very innovative model, at least in the scope of the UK banking industry, is this sustainable in the market?
Absolutely. And of course it isn't really a new model. This idea of giving great customer service was the way banks used to be. So what we've done is taken the best of the old-fashioned banks, excuse me, add some new benefits, the advantage of technology and some other things to give great service. I think it'll be around for a long time.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. We really
Thank you very much.
With you.
Thank you.